So a few months ago I made a video about the fall and rise of handheld gaming, and at the end of that video I made a jab against PlayStation's newly announced handheld remote play device, simply known as Project Q at the time. When I made that video we barely knew anything about the device. All we knew was that it's a handheld that can play your installed PS5 games over Wi-Fi, and that's about it. Well, recently we got some additional information about the handheld. First off, we now got an official name, PlayStation Portal, as well as the confirmed price of $199 MSRP and the reassurance that it will be set to release later this year. We also now have footage of people getting a hands-on test with the device where we can have a clear look of what it looks like. And yep, all of this pretty much reassures me that this thing looks terrible and it is pretty much a failure waiting to be released. Let's talk about it. But before I do, let me give a quick explanation as to what this thing is and what it specifically does. PlayStation Portal is not a traditional handheld gaming system like the Nintendo Switch or any of other Sony's handheld systems. Instead, it is what I would describe as a dedicated remote play device. Meaning this thing is set out to do one thing and one thing only, use remote play. Remote play, for the unaware, is a feature that allows you to stream the contents from a PlayStation console, specifically the last 3 generations of PlayStation consoles, onto another device via Wi-Fi. No longer do you need a TV to play your favorite PlayStation console games, because with remote play you can play them away from the television. Initially this feature was only available on the PSP and the PS Vita, but now remote play is available on practically everything. Windows, Mac, iOS, Android, and Portal will be the latest addition to the library of remote play compatible devices. Now before I get into why I think Portal is terrible, I feel like I should at least express the things that I do like about Portal, because I do understand why Sony would want to make a product like this, besides, you know, the obvious reason. I think the idea of playing your PlayStation home console games away from the television is honestly a very good one. It's going to depend from person to person, but I honestly prefer playing my games on a handheld rather than on a console in front of a TV. I just find the option of being able to play my games anywhere around my home or anywhere outside my home super convenient, and thanks to devices like the Nintendo Switch and Valve's Steam Deck, I can now enjoy home console games anywhere. No longer is it just a completely different version of a game because the handheld wasn't as powerful compared to the console. When you're getting Doom 2016 on Switch, you're getting Doom 2016. Ever since I got these devices, I've honestly been playing my dedicated modern home consoles less and less. The only times I ever get on my Xbox is whenever the next multi-plat game I'm interested in comes out, and the only times I ever get on my PlayStation is whenever an exclusive comes out. Which is pretty much never. Good lord, Sony, you're so slow with your game releases now, it's not even funny anymore. And it seems that some people online share the exact same views I have when it comes to handheld gaming, so I honestly love the idea of Portal satisfying people like me who would want to play their PS5 games away from the TV. And that's it. That is everything that I like about Portal. Now onto the things that make it awful based on the information we have now. The biggest flaw that Portal has is that the way you play your PS5 games is not at all local. It is entirely based on streaming the games from the PS5 onto the device via Wi-Fi. Streaming games has yet to get to the point of being completely reliable. It is functional and has gotten better, but it's still not good enough to feel completely authentic compared to playing locally. Streaming games currently have issues such as visual and audio artifacting, but the big one is input delay. The time it takes for a streamed game to register the input you've done on your controller is longer compared to doing an input on a wired or even wireless Bluetooth connection locally on a system. It isn't that big of a deal for more casual games, but for games that require precision and quick reaction input like any Souls game or even Cuphead, you'll quickly notice the input delay and realize just how much it ruins your game experience. So a handheld that is dependent on an internet connection to stream your games means that this thing will work well with some games but be an absolute nightmare to play for other games. And the fact that it needs an internet connection at all to even work means that you're completely limited to where you can even use this thing. It's not completely portable if I can't use it anywhere. You can try to use it at places that offer free Wi-Fi, but the speeds from those Wi-Fi spots are so garbage that you shouldn't even bother. It's fine for basic internet searching and light work that needs an internet connection, but the moment you try to do anything more intensive like, oh, I don't know, game streaming, the Wi-Fi becomes practically useless. So you're pretty much limited to playing this thing at your home or at other people's home with their internet connection. This is where the whole Wii U gamepad comparison you see online is coming from. It's a controller with a screen that allows you to play away from the TV, but you can't use it that far from the TV or else it won't work. But at least the Wii U gamepad uses a special Bluetooth technology to stream the games onto it, meaning that there is pretty much little to no input delay. And if you do start to notice a delay and realize the connection is starting to weaken, you can simply move the gamepad closer to the console and voila, problem solved. But with Portal, you can have your router glued to the back of the system for absolutely zero connection interference, but it still has a chance of messing with your game experience because internet connections can sometimes just not work for no reason. Trust me, I would know a thing or two about reliable internet connection just randomly stopping working. If you're playing a game on Portal and the internet connection becomes unstable, then tough luck, your game becomes unplayable and you can't do much of anything to solve it. This pretty much ruins Portal for me. What good is a video game system if it can't be completely reliable for playing games on? But Portal has more problems up its sleeves beyond the whole video game streaming thing, such as how many games you can theoretically play on this device. Because all this thing is doing is streaming the video and audio contents from your PS5, you're limited to playing the games that are either downloaded onto your PS5 and or the game that you have inside of your PS5 disk drive. This doesn't sound so bad for those who exclusively get their games digitally, but if you happen to be somebody who still get their games via disc, well then good luck trying to play your favorite games besides the one that you have on your system and any miscellaneous downloaded ones. I get that more and more people are getting their games digitally now rather than physical, but why single out a portion of your consumer base with a product like this? Also, get a load of this. It has also been recently revealed by Sony that PlayStation Portal will not be allowing users to pair Bluetooth headphones with the device. That's right, a portable gaming device that is set to release later this year in 2023 by Sony, a big name in the audio industry, will not be allowing users to connect Bluetooth audio devices. Instead, you are limited to using the headphone jack on the device or any PlayStation Link compatible accessories. What's PlayStation Link, you may be asking? Well, from what I saw, it is a brand new technology that Sony is adapting that allow low latency and high quality audio to wireless audio devices that'll be used on devices like Portal. And the first products that'll incorporate this new technology are the Pulse Elite headset and the Pulse Explorer earbuds. Wow. Just wow. That is slow clap levels of wow right there. Hey, remember when Apple announced that they removed the headphone jack from the iPhone 7 only to then announce the first gen AirPods immediately afterwards? Time is a flat circle, ain't it? And I guess the final thing I can really complain about Portal with what we know of it so far is the design. What the hell is this? I said in my Fallen Rise of Handheld Gaming video that I would be less embarrassed to be caught using the Wii phone than PlayStation Portal, and I unironically still mean it. Good lord, it's ugly. They seriously chopped the DualSense controller in half and pasted them on each end of an Android tablet and called it a day. It has no style to it. It looks like a prototype, but this is what the final product is going to look like, and I seriously can't believe this is coming from a big name tech company like Sony. I called the first gen Nintendo Switch systems ugly in a previous video of mine, but Portal honestly takes the cake. It doesn't even look that comfortable too. I don't know what else I can really say about it besides good lord, it is an ugly boy. And the main thing that I despise about this thing is that this could have been an actual response by Sony to the Nintendo Switch. PlayStation Portable and PlayStation Vita are up there with some of the best handheld gaming systems ever made. The former was a system that was capable of playing graphically impressive games at the time with a great library of software and an amazing set of multimedia features. And the latter was a system that was also capable of playing graphically impressive games at the time and had an even better game library, I would even say. And even when the system didn't do so well in sales, there was still a devoted community who gave the system the love and attention that Sony never gave it. And the fact that they are following up that beloved handheld with this is an absolute joke. I get that making a new gaming system is risky, especially one in a market that has always been dominated by Nintendo, but devices like the Valve Steam Deck shows that people are willing to buy gaming handhelds not made by Nintendo if they are good enough. And I know there would have been a lot of people who would happily purchase a brand new PlayStation handheld system that can play its own exclusive line of games and be capable of remote play as a feature, but Sony decided to half-ass it and gave us Portal instead. I honestly think Sony should have either made an actual handheld gaming system with remote play as a feature or have them not make a handheld at all. Either go big or go home. And the fact that this thing shares the same acronyms as that of the PlayStation Portable is a complete insult to that system and the amount of great qualities that thing had. A bigger insult than this thing practically costing $200, which is simply too much money to fill in such a niche gap. You can get your hands on a Switch Lite with that money, an actual gaming handheld system, or you can save up a little bit more and get a Switch OLED or a Steam Deck or hell, even one of these things. This is the Logitech G Cloud and it pretty much does what the PlayStation Portal sets out to do. This thing can play your PS5 games via remote play, but this thing also works with a variety of other services such as Xbox Cloud Gaming, Nvidia GeForce Now, Steam Link, and hell, it can even work with a variety of emulators. Only for $100 more. Technically it's $150 more, but I always see this thing go on sale for at least $300, so I'm just gonna say $100 more. So yeah, PlayStation Portal, can't say I'm a fan. I'm honestly expecting this thing to go down the same road as the PSP Go, a device that was ahead of its time in terms of what it sets out to do, but it will ultimately be deemed as a flop in the long run when nobody ends up buying it. Maybe I'll be wrong, only time will tell as to whether this thing succeeds or fails, but all I know is that I will not be buying this thing, and from the general consensus from people online as well as my viewers, it seems that a lot of people are in the same boat as I am. And yeah, I have nothing else to say really. Go get Spider-Man 2 when that comes out.